Okay, so we're over here in the seafood department. A couple of things that are okay and a couple of things that are not okay to add. So all of these fresh seafood items that you have right here, very, very, very good to add to your diet. It just depends on like if you are really into the fresh seafood, if you're into that type of thing. I know some of you really love shrimp, you really love fish, you really love all those things. You really can't go too wrong with fresh fish. Now you can go wrong with not getting the right type of fish. Like you have to be really careful with the content and where the fish are grown. You don't want to be ingesting too much as far as getting lead into your diet and things like that from some of these places. That's why when it says like farm raised or wild caught, so wild caught means that like it was caught in the wild. These fish were not raised on a farm. Farm raised means like literally there's a farm and they raise fish inside a tank and then they harvest the fish. So you definitely want to mix it up, like wild caught, farm raised. You don't want to do all of the same ones just because of the acidic content or the different types of content that the fish can have in it. The other thing that you want to do is you want to avoid things like this. So when you're starting to get into the stuff that makes all southern tables look better, which is like fried fish and fried shrimp, yeah, you're starting to really get into stuff that's gonna mess you up later, especially if you're trying to follow the challenge diet. You don't wanna add those things into your diet. But let's head on down this way. So let's dig into the red meat debate, okay? So some people are totally against red meat. Some people are totally into adding red meat. Some people are so into it, they only eat red meat and eat nothing else. And you're like, well, I don't know what to do. The fact of the matter is that most red meat does take longer for your body to process, okay? So it is spending more energy processing, and it also tends to be harsher on your stomach. So if you have any kind of stomach issues at all, any GI issues, I would try to avoid red meat at all costs. If you don't have those things, eating something that's lean, a lean type of meat is better. When you get into like some of this stuff where we're doing like ground chuck and things like that, and you're getting into a high fat content on that ground chuck, that obviously is gonna add too much fat to your diet. So try to stick to lean meats. Some lean meats that actually taste really good are lamb. It is much more expensive though. Turkey is also good, it's a lean meat, sometimes used as a substitute for red meat. So you could do turkey ground chuck essentially, which isn't ground chuck, it's turkey ground beef, right? And then you could do that instead of doing like just regular ground chuck. And then the other thing that we've got here is we've got pork. So some people are like totally against pork and some people aren't. It just depends on your style. Like anything that's like a pork base is probably going to be okay as long as you don't have anything against pork and adding it into your diet. I would stay away from pork sausages though as much as you can, just because there's a lot of extra fat that's added into that. So let's head on down this way. So now we're getting into one of my favorite areas, which is the chicken area. You can't really go too wrong with chicken. I'm not gonna get into the debate of organic, non-organic, or whatever. Like for most people watching this, if you're just starting to be super health conscious, the thing that you wanna do is you wanna take some of this chicken and you either wanna grill it or bake it. If you grill the chicken, you really are not getting in a whole lot of extra added fats. You're getting a ton of protein. Most athletes can't consume enough protein. Most normal, everyday, average people are on the opposite side. They don't consume hardly any protein. So you need to be consuming some type of protein like a lean meat, like chicken. And like I said, with chicken being so low in cost, it's your go-to. You should be eating chicken. I know you're gonna get tired of eating chicken. You just gotta be inventive. You gotta come up with some good recipes. You gotta come up with some good things. But this has got to be in your diet, or fish has got to be in your diet. And then everything else is just a now and again type of thing.
Grapefruit diet. Lay off the 3 musketeers.